Hello, my name is Stephen Wilson, and today I'll be presenting information on the data overview to the staff at Griffin Middle School in Smyrna, Georgia. Griffin Middle School is a school-wide Title I school located in Smyrna, Georgia, and is part of the Cobb County School District. During this presentation, I'll be providing a data overview based on an analysis of 3 years of longitudinal data. This will include a discussion of Griffin's CCRPI score and how it compares to the district and state averages. A look at how Griffin's demographics have changed in recent years, and a summary of our student achievement data. This will allow me to highlight student strengths and weaknesses while helping to determine target areas for academic improvement. During the last 3 years, Griffin's CCRPI score has declined by approximately 8%. This decline was larger than the 2013-14 school year to the 2014-15 year at 5%, but improved to only 2.5% drop during the 2015-16 school year. As you will see throughout this presentation, this decline is largely caused by a decline in student achievement during the same period. From 2013 to 2016, Griffin's demographics have also continued to change. While Griffin's Asian and multiracial populations remain largely unchanged, there has been a consistent drop in the Hispanic and African American population, and an increase in the white population. Despite these small changes, they still make up just under half of the total school population, and the African American population still sits around 30%. Along with demographic changes, Griffin's enrollment in selected programs have also changed. As Griffin's Hispanic population has increased, so has its percentage of limited English proficient and English to speakers of other languages. As we examine Griffin's student achievement data, it will become evident that Griffin's current instructional practices need to be adapted to better serve Griffin's English language learners. It's also worth noting the drastic increase in the remedial population from the 2014 to 2015 year to the 2015-16 year. One of Griffin's primary focus areas is to improve math learning and student achievement. Based on the 2013 and 2014 CRCT assessment data, Griffin's achievement was very similar to the state average, while falling short of the district average. However, during the 2014-15 school year, which was the first year of the Georgia Milestones end of grade assessment, each of these averages dropped significantly. With this decline, the gap between Griffin, the Cobb County School District, and the state of Georgia has also increased. With the second year of the milestone occurring in 2015-2016, we continue to see this gap increase. While school, district, and state all improved, the gap also widened between the three. While the CRCT and the Georgia milestones are marked differently, comparing Griffin's performance on each of these assessments with the district and state averages can help educators make instructional decisions to increase student learning and achievement in the upcoming years. After determining that there is a growing achievement gap between Griffin's performance and the district and state averages, I wanted to gain more information about this gap. To do that, I graphed Griffin's percentage of students at or above proficiency in math by grade level from 2012 to 2016. Using this data, it is possible to utilize a cohort-to-cohort model of data analysis to compare scores on the same assessments from 3 different years, or to use a value-added approach to analyze the results of the same group from year to year. Analyzing this data shows that Griffin's 6th grade students are not performing as well as the 7th and 8th graders, but student achievement is increasing during the students' 7th and 8th grade years. This analysis becomes much harder, however, when moving to the 2014-15 data, as this data is based on the Georgia milestones, as opposed to the CRCT. While the percentage of students at or above grade level on the Georgia milestones is much lower, the differences between each grade level have remained consistent. With the second year of milestones data coming in, we can begin to compare the two and gain a better understanding of strengths and weaknesses. Since students are required to demonstrate proficiency on the 8th grade mathematics assessment to be promoted into 9th grade, I chose to specifically focus on achievement data from Griffin's 8th grade student population, broken down by ethnicity. After going visual with the data, an achievement gap became very evident between the performance of Griffin's white students and the African American and Hispanic populations. This gap became even wider with the implementation of the Georgia Milestone Assessment, with a 34% gap between white and African American achievement and a 41% gap between white and Hispanic students. This gap closed a little after the second year of the milestone data was made available. The Hispanic population even passed the African American population by 1%, and the gap between the white population closed to only 25%. With Griffin's changing demographics, specifically the increase in Hispanic students, it is clear that our current instructional practices are not responding to the needs of our two largest ethnic groups, which make up 85% of the total population. Griffin's second primary focus area is to improve English language arts and reading achievement for our students. Like the math results, Griffin achievement data is very similar to the state average, while falling short of the Cobb County School District average. Also, like math, there is a large decline in achievement results when the Georgia Milestone Assessments is implemented during the 2014-15 school year. That gap did close slightly on year 2 of the milestones. When comparing the ELA data from Griffin's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students, achievement results are largely consistent in each grade level, with the percentage of students at or above proficiency within 5 percentage points each year. Similar to the math results, ELA achievement results dropped significantly during the 2014-15 school year with the addition of the Georgia milestone, but all three increased in year 2. After disaggregating the data for Griffin's 8th graders, an ELA achievement gap also exists between the performance of Griffin's white students and the African American and Hispanic populations. This gap is even larger than the math achievement gap, with a 38% gap between white and African American achievement and a 42% gap between white and Hispanic students. This gap grew even larger in year 2 of the Georgia milestones. This data clearly demonstrates a need for our staff to become more culturally proficient and implement changes that will increase learning and achievement for all students at Griffin. Although Griffin scored lower than the district and the state on the CRCT and milestone for math, it is encouraging to see improvements each year. In year 2 of the milestone for Griffin, began to close the gap slightly between district and state, which was a positive trend that we will hopefully see continue. Griffin's weaknesses stem from the achievement gaps between the performance of African American and Hispanic students when comparing their achievement to our white population, especially in 8th grade ELA. As you can see from the line graph, Griffin's Hispanic and African American populations are 31.2% and 37.1% respectively in terms of at or above proficiency, whereas the white students are at 76.7%. This is a gap that needs to be addressed, and those students need to be served accordingly. To begin the process of addressing these weaknesses, Griffin Middle School recently revisited its mission statement, focusing our staff's efforts to promote success for all students. To do this, our staff should focus on 2 target areas. The first target area is that we should focus on bridging the gap between district and state scores on both ELA and math for the milestone test. We are below district and state, and although we are improving, the gap is still getting larger. This is something that needs to be addressed. In addition, our staff should work to lower the achievement gap between white students and Hispanic and African American students, specifically in 8th grade ELA. The current gap is way too large, and it's apparent that we are not achieving our mission statement of promoting success for all students. After looking at the data from Griffin Middle School, I want to leave you all with 2 overall questions. The first one, how can we continue to improve state milestone scores in ELA and math while also bridging the gap between district and state scores? The second question, what programs can we put into place to close the achievement gap between white students and Hispanic and African American students, specifically in 8th grade ELA? Thank you for taking the time to explore the data for Griffin Middle School. Please consider the questions that were posed to you and explore solutions so we can continue to make Griffin great. Thank you.